Alright, welcome to the Salty Cottage photo editing session. Here what we're going to do is we're going to take a photo and remove all the background and prep it for the catalog. So let's first drag in a photo. Now I didn't do anything to this photo except for just drag it in straight from the camera roll. First thing we want to do is crop it. So crop it, you can do it any way you want to, so you have a square cropping session. 1 on 1, 5 on 5, whatever you want to do here, just as long as you get a perfectly good square. Now you can do any shortcut you want here, but Shift Alt to reduce the crop. You can have some head space on the top and bottom, but make sure that the right and left is pretty close to the edge with a little breathing room. Now this one's pretty straight, but let's just make sure it's really straight. So we're just going to tilt it just a little bit. Let's commit that. The first step to do is to duplicate this. So let's duplicate this layer. And we're going to put another new layer between these two. You can unshow the last one. We just have it here just for reference later on. But in this middle layer, we're going to fill it with white. So make sure you have white down here. Fill it. Okay, great. And now we're going to go back to the top layer and cut it out. So there's a handy dandy tool right here called the Quick Select tool. It gets a little tricky when you have tan on white, but here we're just going to drag it over, and you can see that it's picking up quite a bit more in the background. But if we hold down Alt, you can see the minus, and now what we're going to do is we're going to drag into the white. We're selecting the pillow region. Picked a hard one here, so you can see some of the challenges. Alright, now we go back with the plus, not holding Alt. And we're just going to make sure to drag out a little bit, getting all the little pillows. And we kind of repeat this process until we get the whole pillow. Now down here, oops, let me get this real quick. Now down here we have the shadow. We're going to want to soften the shadow, so we actually do want to select it. So come in here, nice steady hand, and get across a lot of that shadow. And then any other pillow, part of the pillow we missed. Alright, looks pretty good. Now what we want to do is feather this edge. So come here and select and masks. And here are some of the settings I prefer. Smooth of 12, feather of 1.7, contrast of 10, shift edges of plus 3%. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hit OK on that. We actually want to take out the background, so we're going to inverse select. Hit the delete button. Okay, and deselect it, and you can see we have a nicely selected out pillow that's not too harsh as on the edge. So we can go back through it, but we're going to soften the shadow first. So here we're leaving this white background on so we can see the how well our shadow is. And we're going to take the eraser tool, and I like to set it 0 hardness and size about 77. Of course that depends on the picture. And we're going to do here with a really steady hand to soften that edge. Now we're not really using any fancy masking here or anything. You could. And we'll come back here and just get any harshness. This is a pretty quick operation, so I just do it in a lossy format. And then you can use the clone tool and get any of these imperfections. So you can select Alt next to the imperfection and do something like this. Alright, now we don't need to take out all the little imperfections. Like for instance, there's a lot of dots in here. We can leave those the same. But we want to get out the ones that, you know, look distracting. Maybe it's a loose thread. Maybe it's just some dirt. I mean, we could get rid of some of these more obvious ones. Alright, looks like we have a pretty clean pillow. We're actually almost done. So, we have the pillow. We look over it real quick. Looks in focus, looks straight, looks like nicely cropped. So now we're going to export it. Now we export it just so people request a picture, or they can have the picture. We're going to change the width and the height to 2500. And just make sure all these settings are correct. You have a JPEG, maximum quality of 100. We're going to hit save. Now one thing I kind of messed up on is we forgot to save it the first time. So let's go ahead and save first names. I like to have the names all match. So we're gonna first save this as a PSD, and we come up with a nice name that looks semi-descriptive. Anchor blue on tan beige. Okay. And I usually, maybe put a number version here if you want, or we can leave it out, whatever. All right. So we have that. We save it. And next we're going to export it. Save for legacy, same thing. We're going to switch this to 2500. Now the name should be correct. We're going to output that. And then we're going to actually take off the white background and save it. And here you go. Now you have a finished PSD and picture ready for the catalog or sending it out. So we just close it. Well, thanks for listening. Hope that was informative. And yeah, happy cutting.